we are back. So this is actually going to be the first episode of what we're calling as season one of the Natural Born Growth Hackers. Last season, we were really trying to really find our voices, and demonstrate what people really find valuable out of a podcast. And we haven't honestly done any marketing to this day for this podcast yet, but that's all going to change for this season, especially. And we talked a lot about 0 to 1 and Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 in the last season. So with that note, we're calling that season 0, ironically enough, and this will be our season 1. So real quick, we're gonna do like a little breakdown of pretty much all the stuff that we discussed and went over for season 0, and then we're gonna really get into it. Joe, you want to tell them what is your definition of growth hacking?
Yeah, so I think my definition of growth hacking is essentially marketing and growing your company without spending any dollars. At the end of the day, I mean, everything costs money no matter how you spin it, but being able to grow your company, grow your brand, grow anything that you're doing without spending any money is essentially growth hacking at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's a great definition of it for sure. And it's really just ROI-based focused marketing. I think you can spend some money, but it's just like minimal cost spent, and just really focusing on, finding the bottlenecks in your business and discovering unique opportunities to gain like customers where you didn't think were possible. And in the first season, we talked about how Airbnb blew up. They had one of those concepts that Peter Thiel would call a contrarian belief, right? I believe that's the term for it. Basically, what that means is no one thought that this kind of thing would succeed. And again, it goes back to did you really think people were gonna pay to live in a stranger's house? Probably not. But Airbnb was able to create a $100 billion company out of this concept that was just extremely unique. But growth hacking, it helps you find those different opportunities in places that you never thought to look for. And it's just a great way to get your name, your brand, your company, your concept, and your early customers out in front of you, and help you grow, scale, and use that lean startup. Another book that we really touched base on last season, that build, measure, learn methodology to get out in front of customers, get their hands on your products, your marketplace, whatever it may be, and just really iterate the best version of creating that minimal viable product that people love and they really want to use and see. Another book that we touched base on that I really think is great is The Right It. And just a brief synopsis, you want to give them kind of like the rundown of what The Right It and why it's important, Joe?
So I mean, essentially the right is just as simple as it sounds, exactly the title. It's just like you can be working on one thing as much as you want, but if there's no market for it, or it's just something that nobody wants, or you're not marketing it correctly, there's no real reason to keep pursuing it. I mean, you're literally just banging your head up against a brick wall that's never going to break down. You have to kind of go out and take that lean startup mentality and kind of build, measure, learn, and see what, number one, customers are looking for, or number two, what's a problem that can be solved. And that's really the whole gist of the Right It, and just finding that one product or service and then marketing it and growth hacking it and growing that to the biggest level that you possibly can, and then hopefully eventually one day getting bought out.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too as well, like the person that wrote The Right It, he comes from a background of complete like ridiculous anomaly successes, and he eventually was met with a failure that cost him like 3 to 4 years of his life, and with $20 million in VC funding. I think that's what it was. It was either $15 and $20 million in that range, and it made him not want to have to go and face that failure again, and that's where The Right It kind of spawned. But it really talks about creating like these little tests before you actually go and execute, like building a product that people actually don't want to use. Another great book that we talked about as well was How to Build a Billion-Dollar App. I think this is an amazing book. We're not going to get into a lot of details. We're just doing a brief synopsis really of the past season, and if you haven't listened to it, I think it's great to go and see how we started out and how we're at right now. You'll see fallen chalkboards and dry erase boards, not chalkboards. We didn't go that far back, but you'll see fallen dry erase boards and how our little studio, has really transformed. It's we've definitely come like I would say a long way from where we started out. We've learned ourselves. We've grown as individuals and as co-founders now of what's become Natural Born Growth Hackers and what has also become NBGH Media. But we really want to get this podcast out there in front of aspiring entrepreneurs and just help anyone in their journey. I feel like I didn't have a mentor in the very beginning of my entrepreneur journey, and I know this podcast would have been very valuable information. When I started out, I would have saved a lot of time, a lot of money, especially too. I would say I've thrown thousands of dollars down the drain doing stupid shit. I feel like as an entrepreneur, but it's just a learning process, and we want to get this out there to help all aspiring entrepreneurs learn and grow with us. Another topics that we talked about was NFTs, Web3, the Equality Project. It's one of the projects that I'm on the co-founding team of. How to build community-driven projects that are valuable, and how to really give value back to communities as well.
I mean, NFTs, if think about it, from when we first started the season 0, like the NFT craze was probably at its peak, and now NFTs are like completely 360'd, and everyone's realizing like, oh wait, some of these are just JPEGs with nothing. Now everyone wants to build utility on it.
99% of the market.
In like 2 days too.
Yeah, it's nuts. And our project, like we took so many pivots, and now we're just we're putting something out there, but the art that we were able to create is absolutely amazing. And we actually took a whole new direction. It is NFT still, but we're creating this energy drink. It's called Koala Coffee. It's pretty sick. But we're just trying to release something to our community that we've built up for. It's almost been a year, honestly, since we started creating these designs. So a lot of these projects, they try to create something and jump out and run away, but that's not what we're doing here. Letting my dog out because she's crying.
Offer her to come back in a couple minutes.
But you want to jump into pivoting and how we did that a bunch last season?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, it kind of ties back into the books we talked about with like the lean startup, 0 to 1 and the right id. We started off with Division 42. We were going to be a health and fitness and wellness brand kind of across the board in that entire industry. Started off trying to just get into the supplement side, kind of realized, all right, so it might be a little bit more saturated, a little bit more difficult than we thought. We started off with maybe too many products. We've kind of narrowed it down now to about 3 or 4 that we really truly believe in and we think that are good quality products and we want to put our full energy behind. But then we also started getting a little bit into trying to tie NFTs with workouts and things like that, and just right now the market's not there. Not to say it won't be there in the future. Like there's definitely a possibility for it to work out, but we just didn't feel that was something that we could conquer right now with the way the market is in that entire space. So we kind of pivoted more towards real estate, and then eventually into digital marketing as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just more on the Division 42 note as well, I feel like it's just in the back burner right now. If you were to go and watch season 0, like everything that we discussed, like it really was like a mountain of ups and downs, just a giant roller coaster, I would say, which is there's nothing unique in the eyes of an early entrepreneur, but I think like there's so many obstacles that I face myself. I know Joe has as well, but there's just there's the one thing that I was lacking was a direction and a focus on doing one thing, a laser focus, a tunnel vision focus. And Gary Vee talks about this so many times. I've seen in a lot of his TikToks and whatnot, but he talks about like, you find something that you like and you're good at and just create this laser tunnel vision. And that is something that I have lacked and many entrepreneurs have lacked, and I'm changing that. And this season you'll see like our laser tunnel vision is going to be solely focused on helping entrepreneurs with search engine optimization, digital marketing, and taking their brands from 0 to 1. In the sense that we're going to be interviewing a ton of small business owners. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out, you have a pharmaceutical company that's you're a sales leader, or you're an icon agent at eXp and you're closing $1 million in deals a year. We don't care what your background is. We want to interview you. We want to get your name out there. We want to show people what works for you, what growth hacking methods have you used in the past. That's our goal for this podcast now. And we just want to get every entrepreneur we possibly can in front of the eyes of as many people as we possibly can, and help them, build, measure, learn what they're doing in their lives. It doesn't even matter if you're not an entrepreneur, honestly. The stuff that you learn becoming an entrepreneur and learning from other entrepreneurs as well, or even entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs that want to get to that point where they can leave their 9-to-5 job, you can take back to anything you're doing. Like, we use growth hacking methods in going to the gym, getting great physiques, our meal prepping, and pretty much anything you can possibly think of. There's ways that you can use growth hacking to really utilize what you're doing in life and improving, making your life, easier to manage, in all honesty. But let's jump into real estate and how. Okay, so Joe got me to join eXp, and let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so I mean, when I first met Chris, he was working at, your brokerage was still remote, technically, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was at Keller Williams in Tallahassee first, and then I, did the license transfer to, it was actually a startup too, but it was a referral brokerage, essentially, and then I transferred to another startup that was supposed to be giving me listings and whatnot, and I just, I don't really have the time to focus on, dealing with buyers and sellers. So he convinced me to join eXp, which is going to talk about right now, for the recruiting and the revenue share aspect. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so within eXp, there's essentially 8 different ways that you can make money. Number one is your split. So when you first off, it's an 80-20 split. That's the first way. The second way is you get 100% commission once you do cap. So that's once you do $100,000 in gross commission, you get 100% of your commission, and then you also get, which is the third way to earn money at eXp, $16,000 in company stock back. So you can buy company stock at a discount, and then you do get stock for every single deal that you do. So that's numbers 3 and 4. And then from there, we also get money from referrals. So we have entire referral networks, not only within the US, but within all 80 countries that we're a part of at eXp. So you could literally meet someone on vacation in Europe, build a relationship with them, and they can start sending you clients all through eXp, and you get money on that. The next way is we have different partners. So one example is Utility Connect. So for buyers and sellers, when they're going to move into either their new house or out of their old house, this makes everything so much easier for their services, and we get a percentage of that, pretty much like an affiliate type thing. The next way is through mentorship and coaching. So every agent who joins our group gets free mentorship and coaching, and if you're a certified mentor or coach as part of eXp, you also get a percentage of whoever your coaching's revenue that they do earn as well. Obviously, that's part of eXp's part of the split. So on that 80-20, you get part of that 20%. That's eXp's. But if you're a coach, that's an easy offer for you right there. The next way is express offers. So we have an entire platform dedicated to strictly investors. So if you want to be an investor-focused realtor, you don't want to deal with people like, oh, I don't like the color of this, then express offers is perfect for you. It's in every state in the US, all 50 states. It's literally a platform. You go on there and you can filter it by county, and then you see exactly who's looking to buy something, and they'll give you a cash offer right there on the spot for the property. So it makes it a whole lot easier to go after some things. And you can also bring investors to it, and any of these investors, once they do start buying homes, you get a percentage of that as well. So that's pretty nice. And then the last way, and would probably convince Chris the most, is the revenue share aspect of it. So when you bring on agents, you get a portion of their 20% that they pay to eXp. So a lot of people think it's a pyramid scheme. At the end of the day, you're not getting any of their money. You're getting just money from the company that they were going to get anyway. And it's just really to ensure that, number one, the company is owned by the agents at the end of the day. There's a lot of places that have profit share models. And then the weird thing about profit share is you can make profit whatever you want. So if you don't really like some of the agents that are a part of your business, you can make your profit zero. You're not sharing anything. With revenue share, it's cut and dry. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know exactly what's being earned, and you know exactly what you're going to make. And there's 7 different tiers to this. So obviously, there's people right underneath you, and then there's also business partners all the way down the line. So it ensures a lot of collaboration and making sure that everyone succeeds in the company, because when someone else makes money, you also make money, which is really nice. And that's probably the biggest thing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely like you said, the revenue share aspect, because I think I'm pretty good at recruiting people to like a cause and like something to, you know, that's gonna set them up. Like basically, like the way that we frame it is your escape plan. At eXp, like you actually have a retirement and escape plan when you're done, you know, closing deals, dealing with listings, and dealing with buyers. As long as you maintain your license, you can refer out, you know, anyone you get, obviously, like any brokerage. But with eXp, what really sets you apart and has that unique mechanism that other brokerages don't, it's very agent centric in the sense that you're literally going to earn income that's going to be residual, like no matter how long you live, obviously. And also too, you can actually transfer. Let's say that God forbid something happens to your family, and you're an agent, you can transfer your position at eXp to someone in your family as long as they get licensed to be a realtor. But essentially, like they'll take on those royalties that you were gonna, you know, forfeit. But the way that I look at it is, and there's a lot of people online that, you know, talk about recruiting and stuff, and why they switch to eXp, and you can build a team. Like, it's so early. We're the tip of the iceberg. Less than 1% of agents in Florida right now, I think that's the number, are with eXp. It's only the beginning.
Yeah, and then there's no franchise fees and no royalties on top of that. Like, the only thing you pay, no matter what level you're at, whether you have a team or anything, is $85 a month, and you get access to KV Core, app file, or not app file, SkySlope for all your transaction management, like all this stuff for free for 85 bucks, I guess. But how much was it when you tried to get KV Core?
It's $500 a month, so you get that for free when you join eXp. So another reason, if you want KV Core, you can get it for free with eXp.
Yeah, and then I mean, like if you join our team, you know, you get free office space, free car magnets, free MLS copies. So that's pretty much like the description on everything. Free polos, free hats, free open house signs, free coaching and membership, free transaction management software called App Files. You also get a free CMA kit, which is pretty much when you go to do a listing appointment. This is the entire, from A to Z, walking your potential seller through everything. You also get free photos for the MLS. So I mean, photos can be anywhere from $400 to like a couple $1,000 depending on the size of the house. And then I think the best thing as part of our team is you get free leads. The only thing you have to do is pay a 25% referral. But a lead you don't have to do anything for. You just work them, go close them. Shoot, they can call you up today. You can go close the house this afternoon.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a better option, especially if you're just starting a real estate career out. Like, I think eXp is great. And then if you're finishing a real estate career but you have a lot of connections and you want to, you know, take your contacts over to eXp, you can still build, like, you know, your own little empire, and attract agents to come and join your group or your team that you're on. Because you sponsoring them, you sponsor 5 people, they sponsor 5 people. Those are all cap out agents. That's just what, like a total of 20. That's 26 agents total, right? Well, you sponsor 5, and then you sponsor 5, so that's technically 31, right? That are beneath you. I think the number that they show on you, it's like you're generating. What was the actual number per year for that type of situation, for example?
Per year, I want to say it's like close to 20 grand, I think.
Yeah, regardless of it, it's a lot. And then, I mean, there's this one person that I know that we were on a mastermind call with, and he has over 1,500 agents below him, and he only directly referred, like, I think 68 himself. So it just shows you, like, you can, and that's a few million.
He's gonna make $1 million this year, isn't he? Or is that next year?
I think it's more than that, from the video that he was on.
And you don't even have to sell any real estate if you don't want to.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just does recruiting. You're basically a glorified real estate recruiter. I mean, it works. Yeah. All right. Anyone that's not into real estate, sorry for that little tangent there we went off on. But another thing that we discussed in season 0. So I was on this amazing TV show. It's called The Blocks. I was on season 3. They actually just launched a few weeks ago the season that I was on. So you can go there, head over there. There's a ton of great content you can download. It's called The Blocks, THE space BLOX. It's in the App Store for Google Play and also iOS. But there's a ton of great stuff on there for anyone that's trying to, learn about startups, starting your own business. Pretty much what we're talking about on this podcast. I was on there for my dating app that I also talked about in season 0. It got acquired by a company called Love Hut, and I'm also in place right now as their head of growth. So we're going to be doing NBGH Media is going to be doing a ton of marketing and just SEO optimization on their own end. I would definitely go and download The Blocks if you want to learn just pretty much anything and just have like an entertaining different outlet to go and enjoy. The plot line is 20 companies at different varying stages. They are in a house in Kansas City for an entire week, and they essentially battle in like pitch competitions. But head there, download that app, and go and binge it because it's great content, and it was a great experience for everyone that has been through it. Right now they're actually recording season 6. The person that edits all of our videos, his name's Sam, and he's actually one of the producers on the TV show. So he keeps doing it for us, helping us out, and his company's actually Yellow Shark, but he does great content and really helps us with some of these videos that we're putting out there for my TikTok as well, and then also for this podcast for the YouTube optimization for it. You want to talk about NBGH Media and how kind of we spawned the idea to do this?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, kind of with the background that Chris had within everything, we kind of saw while we were taking a pivot within Division 42 that the need for marketing, and just kind of saw the synergy between marketing, like the need for it with growth hacking, especially in today's day and age with digital marketing being kind of the way of the future. I mean, phone calls are going out the way. I mean, they're still somewhat important, but there's so many rules around it nowadays. And the same thing with mailers. Everyone's getting inundated with them. And then there's just not a whole lot of education on the digital marketing aspect. So like you could be learning one thing today and then everything changes tomorrow with how fast everything is. So we saw a real need for people to be able to get, number one, high quality digital marketing, but also number two, just someone to be able to teach them and help them to do it in the long run, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's just another cost for your business. Obviously, if you can outsource it, the more power to you, but there's a lot of businesses that can't. So that's where we kind of saw the opportunity to step in and really be, at the end of the day, an ROI-focused marketing company where, number one, we can help you to generate high-quality leads and high-quality traffic to your site through SEO, ads, and organic reach. But also on this flip side of it, be able to teach you and show you exactly kind of what we're doing so that you can kind of take the reins and the ropes in a couple months, maybe a couple years from now, and then you can do it all on your own.
Yeah, no, that's a great description. And again, like, we're trying to set everyone that, collaborates with us and partners with us to take over their lead generation and their SEO for their website. We're trying to set them up to succeed. So you come on board with us, we're going to really like put you on the right path to no longer needing to pay for our services, but also, we're guaranteeing you leads at the same time. And we want you to continue to, run your own digital marketing when we are done helping you out. But also, if you don't continue paying for ads, your SEO is going to be, top ranking, that we're guaranteeing that placement as well. And the methods and the experience that we have in the SEO experts that are on our team now that we just partner with, like, there's no reason that we're not going to, set you up for success. And kind of like where this whole concept spawned for me was we had a very bad experience with a marketing company that helped out, was supposed to help us, really scammed us, to be completely honest. And I'm not going to say the name because I'm not trying to get involved in a defamation lawsuit here, but they really take advantage of small businesses, and it's really sickening to see that people do this, but they make money and a living off of, really taking advantage of people that don't understand the reins of marketing. And we had a great background, but it was one of those things like we wanted to hand off like the social media aspect,
Just
outsourcing things, and like you just got to be careful because in growth hacking, especially, and especially in early stage startups, every single dollar counts. I will not like I will keep saying that to everybody. Um, I mean, you can't fail unless you quit, but if you're taking advantage of very early and you're scammed and you're out of you no longer have any capital to continue your operations, it's kind of hard to not quit. But you just gotta pivot and go a different direction. And this is kind of like it's almost a blessing in disguise, I would say. Yes, we're out a lot of money right now, and we're going through this process trying to get some of it back and recuperate our losses. But essentially, like on the marketing side, I now know more than I ever have, and I have a background in marketing, so it made more sense for us to just do this ourselves. But it was one of those things like we wanted to outsource it and have more time to focus on other aspects because you cannot wear all hats, and that's the whole thing with NBGH. We come in, we simplify the whole process. Complexity is the enemy of scalability and growth. That is our motto essentially, and we want to be that marketing team that can come in and really take over and like let you focus on areas of your business that are going to help you retain clients and also let you expand and scale into other markets or and focus on like getting your time back. A lot of entrepreneurs like we do this to get away from the 9 to 5, but we end up working 9 to 10, like that's yeah.
6 to 12.
Yeah, and I love to work, and it's bad, but sometimes you got to really like put some more time into your pocket and focus on yourself. Like it's not all about the business, and a lot of people like
You work to live, you don't live to work.
exactly, and have a plan. Like one thing that I learned from an agent at eXp was, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, and it's true. It really is. Have a plan, set yourself up for success, and we want to put time back in entrepreneurs' pockets. We want you to focus on maybe other things that don't involve like generating more income, because family is everything to me, especially as well. And having time to focus on your loved ones and not just have oh shit well what are these ads doing in the back of your mind like I need to have this ROI. NBGH is all about finding like that in between for ROI focused marketing, because your return on your investment in marketing it's very important in the sense that like some companies live and die by returns on their investments for what their marketing tactics are, and
Whole departments get fired because of ROI.
yeah, exactly. No, for sure. But at NBGH, we're by realtors for realtors, but we're also working with other companies with their SEO tactics, and we have our media buyer expert has expertise in 40 different niches. So right now we're starting out with just the real estate, and then we're helping a few small businesses as well with their SEO and lead generation, but our main niche that we're tackling right now is the real estate market because we have expertise in that, we have knowledge, and we're realtors ourselves. We're part of like a wide network of realtors with eXp, so we're starting out with that. But NBGH Media, really, it's just all about like handing off your marketing tactics to us, so you're able to go and focus on where your business needs you most, which is and what you're best at. Yeah. And again, too, like we're coming from a place of someone that's been there. They've experienced like what hiring the wrong marketing company can do, and we're not here to do that. Like we guarantee results or we guarantee your money back, and we do not have long contracts. Another red flag to look out for when you're signing with the marketing company. They're making you sign a 6-month contract. Why is that? Because obviously people, they don't want to be in contracts that are that long because they're not seeing the results. So if you are trying to decide who to go with, do not go with a company that's going to make you sign an annual or a 6-month contract, because that's a red flag in the sense that there's a reason they want you to sign this contract. So when you want to get out of it, you're really stuck. it's just something to look for when you're going to find a marketing company. And we're going to continue talking about books. You want to talk about Grant Cardone's 10X rule?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Grant Cardone in general, I mean, like, as annoying as he might be to some people, the man gets results. And it's pretty much based on his 10X rule, which is really boils down to two things. Number one, set your goals 10 times higher than you think you need to. Like, they need to be so astronomically high that it's just like, what the hell am I doing? And then the second part of that is you need to work 10 times as hard as you think you do in order to achieve those, because all this is just going to set you up so much further than anything else. I mean, it kind of goes back to the saying, if you shoot for the stars, you'll land along the moon, but if you shoot for the moon, you won't get anything. I mean, you just got to go further and more astronomically out there than anyone else is going to, and just don't be afraid to fail and don't be afraid to follow up. Those are like the main things within sales, and that's really propelled him to have he's got almost $1 trillion real estate portfolio now. He's built multiple sales coaching businesses, all from just going balls to the wall in every single thing that he does.
Yeah, and also too, like one of the main things that I really took away from, I think I'm on his third book now, but the 10X rule is the first one that I read, and he talks about massive action, taking massive action in all these books, and it's so true. Like, the more action that you take, you're gonna strike out, but you're gonna start getting better and better and better.
One of them's gonna hit.
Yeah, one of them's gonna hit eventually. It's just like startups. Like you could keep failing and failing and failing, and eventually one's gonna hit. But taking that massive action, we're gonna steal this from him. We're gonna start calling it extreme action, for our podcast. But we're coining the whole term from Grant Cardone himself. And massive action is what you need to take to really succeed. And if you want to hit that. If you want to shoot for the stars and hit the moon, taking massive action is the first step that you're going to be able to do that. But here and now, it's going to be called extreme action, just a heads up. Moving forward, this podcast, like, we really want to invite anyone that's listening to this, like, if you want to come on here, we want to talk about your business, the growth hacking techniques that you do. This is really a call to action right now. We want any and all people, any backgrounds, doesn't matter where you are, like, as long as you have internet connection, you'll be able to do this podcast with us. And we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear stories about failures and success. We want all of it laid out in front of everybody. And our goal is to touch as many lives as possible with this podcast, and just really help people in general, entrepreneurs and 9-to-5ers alike.
Yeah, pretty much anyone who's got anything to do with a business or just wants to learn. They can contribute in any way possible. I mean, everyone's got something.
We're going to learn as well, too. Like, we're doing this. I learned so much from, being able to sit here and talk about the different, successes and failures that come with entrepreneurship. And sometimes it sucks. Like, sometimes, like, I want to just lay everything out in front of me because, it is hard. It's not always easy. It's just a difficult.
If it was easy, anyone would do it.
Yeah, exactly. But, I like a challenge, so. That's why we're doing this, and we want to be challenged by people that come on here as well. So let's get it out there. But this is our first episode of the new and improved NBGH Season 1. So like, follow, subscribe, get our podcast out there in front of more people, and we'll be back here next week.